All right, we're here. We're doing the thing, giving it a little bit of time so people can come on. Hello, hello, hello. Test, 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 test. We good? All right. Hi, my name is Drew, and my dear friend Rachel and I would love to welcome you to the Region 13 Talent Show and Tell. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you're staying safe out there in Facebook land. And thank you very much, Shelly and the region, for allowing us to run this by you and to so graciously host us and stream us here. So Rachel and I are currently the two co-clinicians for Harmony Explosion Northwest, which is our region's own barbershop summer camp. And we've been in the program for a long time. And one of the things that is so important to us about the program, one of the long-standing traditions, is the talent show, where kids will all get together and get the chance to show a piece of themselves that they might not get to show during their daily lives. And there's so much love and support from everybody in that audience. And so we figured that right now, one of the best ways for us to connect with one another is to really allow to ask our members of our region, this diverse group of people, to show us what their lives are all about and what they're working on these days, you know, when we can't get together every week in person. So we're going to go through, and several people are here from the region to show you what they've been working on, what they're passionate about, what's close to their heart. But first and foremost, I wanted to show you a brief video from Harmony Explosion of just what our talent shows look like. So I'm going to do that now. And here we go.
Harmony Explosion Northwest has evolved a lot over the years. But one beloved tradition has remained the same year after year. Students from around the country and even around the globe travel to Tacoma, Washington to experience Harmony Explosion Northwest each year in July. Even through our 19th year, as we faced how to succeed during a pandemic, when unveiling our virtual camp experience, the most looked forward to and asked about event was the talent show.
Why did Cinderella fail gym class?
Why?
She ran away from the ball.
These clips are from just a small sampling of our fearless 2019 attendees. The variety of talents, the open willingness to perform for our friends, and the devotion the audience has for every single performer makes Talent Show Night a life-changing moment for so many of us who have attended over the years.
I want to celebrate and live my life, saying thank you, thank you, let's go. I came to dance, 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 dance. I hit the floor 'cause that's my plans, 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 plans. I'm wearing all my favorite brands, 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 brands. Give me some space for both my hands, 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 hands. Yeah, yeah, 'cause it goes on and on and on.
Just as much fun performing in your talent show tonight, Region 13, as we do at Harmony Explosion. Have so much fun, and thank you for sharing your talents with us.
Thank you so much to Kat, one of our co-directors of Harmony Explosion Northwest, for putting that video together for us on short notice. So to get things started off, I figured I would just sing. I was trying to think about what song I should sing, and one kept popping back to me. I've been on a big Beatles kick lately, and I think just looking outside of the world, there's this song that keeps popping back to me that has, I'm hearing it with a sense of hope more than I usually do. So here it is. Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Oh, And thank you. That is it for me. To announce our next participant, please may I present the wonderful, the one and only Rachel Pack.
Thanks, Drew. Thank you so much. And that was beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you for kicking off our talent show this evening. So up next for you, we have Kathy Davis, and she sings in Pride of Portland chorus. And she's been singing for years and years. She actually spent about 17 years in community theater also before moving up here from the Bay Area. And she does this incredible art project, as you're about to see. I don't want to give it away, but if you're interested in buying one of these beautiful pieces, they have sold from 25 for the small pieces and up to 100. She's also donated several of these to SAI local choruses for their fundraisers, which is just phenomenal. So may I present to you Kathy Davis.
Hi, how are you? I just need to get to my screen. Oops, sorry. Oh, and I promised myself I wasn't going to do this. Okay. All right, what am I doing wrong? Ah, there we go. All right, share screen. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. Here we go. One of the things I enjoy doing is making concrete leaves, and that was with a mixture of Portland cement and play sand. And the smallest leaves I've made are the angel wing begonias. This is a plant, not a leaf. And they're about the length, well, you'll see it to scale shortly, but I haven't done these for several years. So these are my earlier ones. And it was a lot of fun using acrylic paints. And I think this one I did a dry brush on it. And every leaf is different. Here you can see the scale. This one, actually, my girlfriend did this one, and she was just trying out all these different metallic colored paints. And she gave me the leaf, and I had it on my desk at work, and some guy came in and put his elbow right there and broke it. Thank you very much. But I glued it back together, and yeah, it looks kind of funny, but it's still pretty. And I don't know what this leaf is. It's all of these leaves are the back part of the flower, or rather the back part of the leaf. So I have no idea. The largest leaves I've done are the Gunera plants. And my friend Sue Vincent, who's also in this tonight, sent me this fountain that's in a nursery over in Tigard, I think. And those are with Gunera leaves. This is what I did. It took about 4 hours to build. And then, of course, you cure it for about 30 days. You put water, you cover it with a plastic sheet and water it every day because concrete needs to cure. And you can't let it dry out too fast or it breaks. Also on Gunera leaves, you use sheetrock tape or whatever it's called to strengthen the back. And these leaves weigh about 100 pounds. Here it is, that leaf with a rain chain down the front by our deck. This is one my girlfriend did, and you can see the scale. And then she and I together spent about 4 hours building this one. And I got bored during this COVID thing, so I decided to repaint it, and using like 5 or 6 different colors of paint and then sealing it. But obviously I couldn't move it. I had to clean off all the moss and everything that accumulated in it and then repaint it. There's a closer look, and you can see how they call it the dinosaur plant for a reason. One reason is because it's so big, and the other one is very scaly, as you can see. There's a scale. The bowl itself is about, well, this whole thing is over 18 inches high, so the bowl is about 18 inches. This is the smallest Gunera plant I've done. And then I did some hostas. And this one, I didn't have enough play sand to make a mound, because when you put the leaf on it, you have to have a mound so it doesn't go flat. And I didn't have any, so I used bubble wrap. And it was really kind of different the way it looks. And here's on top of my mantle, the hosta and the angel wing. And then I think this is kale. I'm not sure. It's the only thing kale's good for. I don't eat it. And I had to repurpose or repaint. I think I repainted that one. I'm not positive. Because after being outside for 12 years, it just kind of got worn, and I thought, and then there was a little break in it right here. So I thought, I'll just paint it. I'll put it in the front yard, and I don't care if they steal the ones in the front yard, but the ones in the backyard are my favorites. So I see those all the time. Then I have a rhubarb plant, which I don't eat rhubarb, but I like the leaves. I have huge leaves. And there are Sue Vincent and me. We have mounds of sand, and we have the leaf is like if on your hand you have the veins on the back of your hand. So you have the veins on the back of the leaf are sticking straight up, and then you have your mixture of cement and sand, and you build it. And there we are again. And then after they've cured for 30 days, I take them and just lay them against the fence, and all of the leaf deteriorates on it, it just makes it so much easier to clean because you have to get into the crevices. And I use a dental scraping tool to get into the crevices and a wire brush. And, you know, sometimes when I clean, a piece falls out. So they are fragile. This is one of my earlier ones. I think I used silver and gold. I'm not sure. And this is that same leaf that I repainted because after 10 to 12 years, it got pretty bad. So, and I'm usually good about my leaves, but you know, sometimes they're really bad, and I thought I'll just repaint them. And that's the same leaf. They all look different in different lights. If you see this one, it looks like that, but when you put it in this type of a light, you don't see it so much. So it changes the color. Let's see. This one is blues and greens and dark blues, and I did metallics, and I have that actually in my bathroom. Well, the powder room, I should say. And they're just, this is the little berm we have in the back of our house. So, I mean, every leaf is unique. This is, yeah, it's about an 18-incher, I guess. And you don't use the entire leaf either. Like the leaf is probably this big, but you don't want to have the mud go over the edge because it just makes the edges rough, and it's just harder to clean. These are 2 leaves that I donated for a fundraiser. You can see the difference. I wear a size 7. So, and there's another fundraiser one I donated. And I think that's, yeah, that's a different one also. Some of them I've, that's one of mine. Yeah. When I say one of mine, it's one of the ones I kept and not donated. And I've always liked the colors of this. I want to recreate this somehow. And I use black down here. So this is my fireplace one. I chose the colors to go with our rug, which you can't see in this picture. But and with this one I made, I didn't use any sand. I just made it flat, and so I had to use low lights and highlights to make it look like it had more dimension. Same with that one. I love this one. I really loved it. In past tense. I love the colors, and accidents happen. So I decided I was going to repaint it during COVID, and it's out in front. If anybody wants to steal it, they can steal it. And that's actually pretty tall, because here's the water bottle. That's about 20 inches, I think, or taller than that. And this is another one that I think this was one that was broken 3 parts. So that's out in front. But and I made one, my neighbor, they had a little girl, and I made a leaf for her. I know you can't tell, it's purples and pinks, but the camera picture didn't pick it up. And I love that one too. I love the colors in that one. That was my very first leaf I made. I was real proud of that. That's in my entryway. And my second leaf I made for my girlfriend, Trish. And she and I actually took classes together in making leaves after I gave her this. And this one I made, one of our Pride of Portland ladies said, "Hey, my sister wants to buy a leaf." And I said, "I'm sorry, I don't sell my leaves." And she said, "Well, how can I get one?" I said, "Well, I donate to fundraisers. If she wants one, she can donate $75 to Pride of Portland, and she can have this leaf." So she did. Because if I sold leaves, it would be a business. I think this is Allison's leaf, if I'm not correct or not mistaken. She has that on her porch. Hopefully nobody will steal it. And just, and the colors, the camera doesn't really pick up the colors properly. It's not as pastel as this looks. The blues are actually deeper. But there again, it's because of the sunlight, you know, hits it differently. Every time of the day, it looks different. That's another fundraising one. I don't know which one Judy Beckman got. I love that one. And I've been trying to recreate something similar to that, but I'm not a good painter. As I was telling LaDonna, I'm more of a Jackson Pollock type person. And she laughed. But if you can see in this light, it's totally different from this light. And this is my last one. So thank you very much for letting me share, and I will stop sharing now.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Yeah, it's fascinating. I've seen Kathy's leaf art before, but I had no idea how it was created. So thank you for sharing that. It's awesome. Okay, moving right along, we have another member of Pride of Portland. This is LaDonna. She joined us in, oh yeah, I'm the director of Pride of Portland. Hello. She joined us in December and sings bass and has been, she started learning about art in college and has been painting a lot during the pandemic, especially really getting back into that in her life. So she can tell you a little more about it. LaDonna, take it away.
Hi. So that's right. I've always been really busy, but I taught kids a lot about art and painting and things because I was a private teacher and worked as a child therapist. And so one way to get kids to really process lots of feelings is through art therapy. So that's how I did. But I always thought when I was old and I had lots of time on my hands, I would paint. So little did I know that I would have so much time on my hands. And so I started watercolor. So I started watercolor in December and didn't really know what I wanted to paint. I just thought I would paint. And so as I painted and started painting, I found things that I liked better. Originally, I thought I would start painting from photos of when I traveled. And so this is a scene in Slovenia that was from a photography because I did a lot of photography. So I decided to start painting my photos. So this is in Albania when I went to visit my son. And so I took in the really hard stuff really fast. I should have probably got into a little bit more gently with the watercolor. And then this is from the Greek monasteries when we were there, actually just a year ago, it's almost exactly. And so I thought, but then I quickly bored with reproducing my photos. I did several others and I went, well, okay, I can do that. So let's do something different. I decided to learn to paint more loose, which is actually a very difficult way to paint. And so I started following certain artists and trying to learn from them, you know, watching YouTube and how to paint looser, and came upon some other different ways and things that I moved into. And then I quickly decided that I really like lots of color, but working with a limited palette was really not that exciting for me. And so I like to throw lots of color on the paper and just figuring out what I liked and what I didn't like. And so I moved into doing some ducks and a lot of flowers. I'm an avid gardener, a master gardener. And so I thought, well, I'll paint my flowers. And so I moved into painting my tulips and my flowers that I was growing in the winter. And I quickly got tired of those because, well, okay, I did that. So what can I do now? And I used to raise chickens. So I thought, well, I'll paint chickens. And so I moved into painting chickens. Here's another duck one, this one's actually, these are all the ones that are way too big to get scanned into a computer. So, and I thought, well, that's fun. I really enjoyed that. And then I moved into doing some more abstract work. And so I moved into doing some animals in abstract, still trying to figure out what I want to do and what I like. And I really like this because I really do like the color. And so I submitted some of these to some online art critics and things like that. This was the one that I started with the wild cow. And then, so this got me quite some attention with some artists in the UK. And I thought, well, maybe I have something there. And then I moved into doing something more free form like this, where I'm taking something that looks a little Van Gogh-ish and recreating lavender fields so that they are a little bit more Van Gogh-ish. And so I like that. I may actually do this one again, this only do it in a different color. So the way this is that if you notice that there's no paint here, so this is a wax resist technique. And so you cover where you want the white paper to be. And then the paint doesn't adhere to that. And then as you keep working it and going back over it, you can actually go in with the tip of your brush and put highlights and shadows in that wax. It's this actually took me about a week to do because you have to let that wax sit and cure with each layer of water and paint. But then of course you're doing something else in the meantime. And so then since I raised chickens, I went into doing some, this is actually a Polish chicken. I used to raise Polish hens. They actually kind of do look like this. I used to have kids come over, they would put the feathers in the top of their feathers in hair bands and they're really cute. And the Polish hens are just adorable. They let you do whatever you want with them. They used to just sit on my shoulders walking around, but they have that wild personality and the crown that goes all over. And so if I have another, and so actually did this one during Zoom rehearsal one night. See, I do more than one thing at a time. I just can't sit still. So that was my wild sheep. A friend of mine raises sheep and I asked her to send me a picture. And I looked at the picture and I the face and tried to get how that animal, its expression and how it made me feel. And then I looked at that picture she sent me probably for about a month. I'm sure she wondered if I was ever going to paint her sheep. But so this is when I was singing one night while we were practicing, this is what came out. And it really, the coloring is, it was a very dark sheep. And so I wanted more light on the face. So again, on the nose and things like that, where you see the lighter color, that's a wax that's on there so the paint doesn't adhere. And then I like to throw paint all over everywhere. And then, so I started doing some online work with a woman who's a very famous artist in the UK. And she started this online art school, she calls it. I don't really want to paint like her, but I find her fascinating. So one of the things she does is she doesn't allow you to use a sketch. So then you paint and you submit it to her and she'll tell you what's wrong with it, which is really great. I like to hear what's wrong. And so one night again during Zoom, I said, well, I'll just paint. I'm sorry, Drew. One night I'll just paint that koala. And so I just did a bunch of paint on the paper and I sprinkled it with salt to get this, the texture. And I woke up the next day to see if I thought it did look like a koala, and it did. So then I repainted it, lifted out and fixed it. And she thought it was fabulous for just smearing paint on a paper. And so I was very impressed by that. Because normally I would draw, but I'm trying really hard not to draw. Does that make sense? So, and then this is another one I just recently did. This is a wild wash of berries, a berry vine. And so one day I was feeding my little Wyatt the berries that we have on here in the yard. And I thought, oh, I'll just paint the berries. And so went in and did my paint all over the paper, and I was really pleased with it. And it got really great marks from two of my very favorite critique people. So I was really pleased with that. And then this is another beach scene. So this is the beach scene. So the textures on here are done with, you put your paint down and then you put cling wrap or whatever, saran wrap or whatever. Am I taking a long time? Shall I share my screen? Okay, here we go. So I'll go through these really fast. Okay. So this is another one. These are smaller, they can be going into the computer. This is that wax technique I was talking to you about. This is a pen and ink. This is another wax resist technique. These are two of my favorites. I'm going to be doing a series in musical instruments, I think. So I'm really working on this concept in my head. I just did these last week, I guess. And so started with that one, and then actually this one was first, and then I did the other one. And then some acorns. This is one I finished this morning. And some chickens. That one has texture techniques on it. Another Polish hen. A baby elephant. A big elephant. This elephant's going to be going into another painting. So this is actually practice, but I like him so much. And he's going to be fit into another painting. So he'll be in a huge painting pretty soon. This is an abstract. I did a series of dragonflies, different techniques in dragonflies. And then that deer was for a challenge that I did with someone. Okay, stop sharing. How's that?
Thank you so much, LaDonna. Those are beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're gonna be moving into the next segment here, and that's actually gonna be me. So I'm going to sing a German art song, or Lieder, if you will. And this German art song is from Franz Schubert, and the title is Die Forelle. And sorry, I'm multitasking. And Die Forelle means the trout. So I'm going to sing you a song about a fish, you see. And just to set the scene, I will be standing on the bank of a beautiful pond, and I am absorbing nature in all of its glory. And I look down and I see, kind of across the pond, a trout. And I think how lovely it is that that trout gets to exist and just swim around in this world. And then I see a fisherman. And I'm a little concerned, but I think, no, okay, the water is super clear, and this trout will see that this is clearly, the fishing lure is a trap, and it won't go toward it. It's gonna be fine. It's fine. And then the fisherman decides to have a new tactic. He muddies up the water. And so you'll have to find out at the end of the piece if the trout falls for the trick or not. In einem Bächlein hell, da schossen frohe die lohnische Forelle, führt über wie ein Pfeil. Ich stand in dem Gestade und stand es Ruhe des muntern Fischleins Bade im klaren Bächlein zu. Ich muntern Fischleins Bade im klaren Bächlein zu. Fischer mit der Röte, wohlandem Auferstand, und saß mit kalten Blüte, wie sich das Fischlein wand, solang dem Wasser helle, so dass ich nichts gebricht, so fängt die Forelle mit seiner Angel nicht, so fängt die Forelle mit seiner Angel nicht. Doch endlich war dem Diebe die Zeit zu lang. Er macht das Bichlein tückisch trübe, und ich es gedankt, so zückte seine Rotte das Fichlein zappelt dran. Und ich mit Regenböde sah die Betrogene an, und ich mit Regenböde sah die Betrogene an. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. I love that so much. She told me earlier today, she said, I think I'm going to sing a German art song about a trout. And I went, yes, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Not so amazing for the trout, but you get it.
It's too bad for the trout, but
yeah.
We all must eat. All right. Thank you so much, Rachel. Moving right along, I would like to introduce another member of the Pride of Portland Chorus. Her name is Sue Vincent. She has been singing with the chorus for about 17 years now, singing lead and then bass in Pride. She's a retired high school history teacher, and she wanted to see the places in the world that she taught about, and so she decided to travel the world. And as she traveled the world, she collected a little collectible. She collected vases to take with her to remember her journeys. And so she has a great big collection at her house, and she put together a little video of her going through and explaining the story behind each of her favorite vases. So I'd like to share that with you now. So Sue Vincent with her vases. And go. And play. Oh my God. And tech support issues sometimes happen when you can't remember if this thing should play. It says it's an image. Hold on one second. There we go.
Hello, I'm Sue Vincent, and I'm a world traveler. I've been to 54 countries, and I acquire a vase to me that makes me remember what I experienced for years into the future. This is where it all started. My very first vase that I got straight out of college with my first job money. And this one from Poland is the last place that I visited in 2017. As you can see, I've been traveling many years. This is my tallest vase from Norway. Very simple, like those people. And here is my smallest vase from Panama. It's supposed to look like a pineapple because they do grow a lot of pineapple in Panama. This was my most expensive vase. This is from China. It is a Sinai vase, and it is made with many small stones or items put together like a puzzle. Very, very detailed incredible handwork and vivid, vivid colors, hence the price. This from Kenya is my cheapest vase because I didn't actually even buy it. I traded a Trailblazer hat for it. The Maasai tribesmen lived in a hut made of thatch and mud, but he knew his NBA teams, and he wanted that Trailblazer hat. The coldest place that I visited was New Zealand. The South Island of New Zealand, I was watching the penguins come up from the ocean at night where they could nest on the shore. The wind came straight from the South Pole, and I thought I'd never get warm again. This is the warmest and the heaviest vase that I acquired. It is from northwestern India, near the Pakistan border in the Thar Desert. I rode camels and went to an oasis to spend the night, much like what Sandy did. And I rode a camel, and I don't get along well with camels. They spit at me, they bite me, they step on me, they try to knock me over, and universally they all want to knock me off their back. Disgusting animals. This vase is from Honduras. It has the dubious distinction of being the most corrupt country that I have visited. Graft and corruption was widespread, and bribery was required for even the most mundane activities. For example, to stand in the shade of a pavilion required a bribe. This is Iceland, which I think was the best run of the countries that I visited. It is run by women and highly educated and very aware of the world situation. They produce so much power, all their utilities are free. In fact, if they could figure out a way to export their power, they'd be the most wealthy country in Europe. As it is, they just don't have a long enough extension cord. Finally, my most favorite country is South Africa. South Africa is about twice the size of Texas, and it's so incredibly diverse. I got this vase at an ostrich farm, and there is so much that changes from day to day, from place to place, that you're never bored, and it is a vibrant, exciting country that would go back anytime. That about does it for now, but I am rescheduling my Argentina trip for 2022. So I may be leaving you now, but I have not stopped my travels. See you soon.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was awesome. We do have Sue with us here tonight, but thank you, Drew, for sharing that video. That's excellent. So up next is going to be Amy Oxley Rippy, and I hope I said your last name right, Amy. And she sings with Northwest Harmony, and her talent is going to be piano composition. So she's actually going to play for us this evening something that she wrote. And she mentioned that she actually had a head injury at age 13, which sidetracked her ability to play piano a little bit. But she still composes beautiful music and really, really loves this piece she's going to share with you.
Hello. So yeah, the head injury more sidetracked my ability to have a lot of interest in playing. It's and I learned this much more recently that was a cause of that. However, back in about 2008, I was attending Portland State as a vocal performance major, and I wasn't taking, all the required theory classes and things. And this was a theory assignment. And it ended up, this is the I call this my artistic vision version. There was the meeting the requirements of the theory assignment version, and then there was this, which is what the song kind of wanted to be. So here it is. I've lost my spot.
Beautiful, Amy. No, you did a great job. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. All right, so thank you so much. That was actually our last performance of the evening. And Drew and I just again want to thank you for joining us this evening. We wanted to take a quick moment and just acknowledge the horrific wildfires that have affected so much of the Pacific Northwest, and of course Region 13 as well. With all the chaos that's happening outside, we are so thankful and glad that you chose to spend your evening with us tonight. We hope that you stay safe and happy. We hope that this event brought you some joy, and thank you so much for being here with us. Good night.